Almost ready.
Cold beer.
Hurdle demonstrators are now asking for a recall election.
Dias delivers the greatest Aquila truck sale on earth. 3 big shows. Here's your chance to get an 87 Olds 98 for $98 over cost. Delta 88 for $88 over cost. Cadillac at a cost that's up to a $3,700 discount. Nissan Sentra Standard is just $63.99. Nissan Standard Truck is just $66.99. The Dias Nissan inventory is at its largest in history. 100% financing available. The greatest car and truck sale on earth by Dias, held at the Market Square Shopping Center in Auburn.
When was the last time you had a thick, juicy charbroiled steak? Well, right now at Family Meats, you can get 160 pounds of USDA choice loins, ribs, plates, flanks, and shanks for just $1.21 a pound. And with this purchase, they'll give you 20 pounds of fresh fryers, 20 pounds of smoked ham, 20 pounds of lean pork chops, and 20 pounds of lean sliced bacon, all for free. And if you qualify, you can get Family Meats' easy payment plan. All 240 pounds of meat at 4 easy payments of $44.40 each, plus 50 free steaks. All you have to do is call Family Meats today.
Dinner special at the Crab Trap. Taste-pleasing broiled or fried fish with battered fries, hush puppies, and coleslaw for only $7.95. The Crab Trap in Main Street Village.
So you talked with old Bo today.
Bo Jackson, yes. He is going to be trying to play football and baseball, and that's amazing to me. And
you're going to talk with Jeff Van Note. I don't think he'll say football's a hobby like Bo has said he wants to play for.
Exactly. And also, they wouldn't reveal any terms of the contract. One thing I did find out, though, is that no matter how many games Bo plays, if it's 5 or 10, he'll get the same amount of money. So this must be a good contract. Yes, Bo Jackson announced his plans to play both professional football and baseball at a press conference in Auburn today.
The contract should be signed within the next few days. Bo will play baseball from spring training to the conclusion of the season, hopefully the World Series. After that time, he will come home and rest. He will then go to Los Angeles and be a Los Angeles Raider with the goal to making the Super Bowl.
I just got off the phone from talking to my media consultant, Lieutenant Oliver North, and he told me to answer the following questions in this order. I love my country. The documents have been shredded, and I know nothing of this. And all of my actions have come from higher authorities. I will not be used as a Earl Campbell type player. I'll be used sparingly, splitting time with Marcus Allen and other backs, and just there for the continuation of the season when I get there. It is a hobby. I wish I could make money fishing also.
Jackson later explained why training himself for football presents no problem.
I've been running all of my life, whether playing baseball and running, playing football and running track, or running for my mother when she gets ready to whip me.
Okay, and now I'm here with Jeff Van Note. He played for 18 years with the Atlanta Falcons center. Amazing player. And I'm sure Jeff has a lot of comments to make concerning Bo's move to baseball, or trying to play baseball and football. What do you think about that?
Well, I'm a little skeptical. I think anybody should be, and it's his statement that it's going to be a hobby is a very striking statement, because it is a full-time job, year-round job, and running in baseball, running in basketball, running track are much different than running in football. And I think that he's taken on an enormous load, but he has some superior qualities as a great athlete, and has proved that in college, and he seems to march the beat of his own drum. It'll be very interesting. I think there'll be a lot of people sitting back waiting to see what he really can do.
Yes, some people are going to try to stop him from doing that also. Jeff's in town with for the Georgia Beef Board in Columbus today. I have some questions about the Atlanta Falcons this year. What do you think about Marion Campbell? So a lot of people are critical of him. They don't think he can win. What do you think about that?
Well, I am in town with the Georgia Beef Board. Barbara Dooley, Irk Russell, and I, on behalf of the Georgia Beef Board and the 30,000 cattle farmers in the state of Georgia, are traveling around the state telling people that beef is good for you and it's healthy. As far as Marion goes, I have a lot of respect for Marion. I think that he's shown in the past he's been a great defensive coach. He's assembled a great defense. He teaches good defense, and he's got a fine defensive team in Atlanta. he's gone out and gotten himself some proven offensive assistants, and I think with the addition of a few players, Atlanta's offense will be on the upswing. I'm predicting big things for the Falcons this year. I look for a very competitive season, and I look for them to be a better than 500 football team and a shot at getting the playoffs.
All right, so now, and you were under Marion Campbell when he did coach last time.
Played under Marion back in the mid-'70s when Marion got the job after Norm was fired. I played a year and a half for Marion, and the first Pro Bowl I played in was Marion gave me that announcement, and I had one of my better years under Marion. I have a lot of respect for him as a person and as a coach, and I think that he's a good man, and it's nice to see people in Georgia come back to Georgia and do some good things.
So you think the Falcons are going to roll then?
I'm optimistic, and that's the way I've lived my life, and I think you got to believe in it. I'm a season ticket holder. I bought my 4. I hope the Falcons come down here into Columbus, and I hope they go to Albany and Macon, and they promote themselves, and they try to get the people of this great state interested in coming to Atlanta for a weekend, if not all 8 games, at least some kind of mini package that would stir people's interest and get the Falcons back on the right track.
Sounds good. And Jeff, thank you very much for your expertise, and we're going to a break.
And in sports action tonight, they really weeded them out at Boston Garden.
They abused That's cute. That's real cute.
Thank you, Joe.
I should give you a hoe. You can do my garden this weekend.
No thanks.
Like a little dog stuck in the median strip of a busy highway, the Boston Celtics watched the Lakers blast by them like a semi tonight. In Game 2 of the National Basketball Association's Championship Series, the Lakers batted Boston around like a wiffle ball, scoring at will, mostly off their fast break game. Thomas Cooper set an NBA record for sinking 6 three-point field goals. As a team, Los Angeles racked up 44 assists. Boston's injuries and their inability to slow down the game immediately put them in a bad position. Los Angeles broke it open in the second quarter and relentlessly pushed Boston's walking wounded into the ground. The next 3 games of the 7-game series are scheduled in the Boston Gardens. However, the mystique associated with the Gardens won't hold mud if Boston fails to find an angle to attack the Lakers from. Final score, LA 141, Boston 122. Game 3 starts at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And the Braves offense finally uncorked and let loose tonight. Dale Murphy and Andres Thomas homered in a 4-run first inning to motor past the Pirates. The victory went to Zane Smith, who allowed 3 runs on 6 hits in the 7 innings. He walked 4 and struck out 5. Jeff Dedman pitched the final 2 innings for his 3rd save of the year. The Braves sent 9 batters to the plate in the first inning against losing pitcher Brian Fisher. Murphy's 15th homer of the season cleared the center field fence. Thomas's solo went over the left field wall. Final score, Atlanta 8, Pittsburgh 3. Another National League action, St. Louis down Chicago. Montreal took San Diego. In the American League, Detroit lost to Houston 8-5. Milwaukee was clobbered the Yankees. In the bottom of the 3rd, the Chi Sox and California zip-zip. Seattle is blanking Kansas City in the 3rd inning also. And the Columbus Astros played the Expos in Jacksonville tonight. Last night, Columbus beat Jacksonville 5-1 to stay 1 game behind division-leading Charlotte. Tonight, Columbus lost to Jacksonville 1-3. The 2 teams finish the series tomorrow night. Columbus pitcher Rob Malacott threw a no-hitter for 5 innings before finally giving in. And the French Open tennis tournament continued in Paris today. The 2 reigning superstars of tennis, Martina Navratilova and Chris Evert, renewed their long-standing rivalry. Navratilova dethroned Evert in their semifinal women's match. It took just under an hour to defeat the last American in the Open, 6-2, 6-2. Navratilova chalked up her 38th win over Evert in 72 career matches. Navratilova next battles Steffi Graf for the title. The 17-year-old Graf has not lost a match since dropping one to Martina Navratilova last November. And heavyweight fighter Michael Spinks battles Jerry Cooney soon. Most people feel Cooney doesn't deserve a shot at Spinks. Cooney hasn't fought since taking a beating from Larry Holmes years ago. Spinks, on the other hand, feels he owes no explanations about why he's fighting Cooney. This marks Spinks' 3rd fight since defeating Larry Holmes last spring. Both fighters are ready to go and full of not too witty sayings.
I'm in good condition. I'm weighing about 234 pounds right now. We've been working quite a long time for this fight. It means a great deal to me.
I haven't anything against Jerry Cooney. I don't really have any serious personal feelings for him in the sense of, of affection.
He's quick. History was made today. For the first time in nearly a decade, Edwin Moses lost a 400-meter hurdles race. The two-time Olympic gold medalist dropped his specialty today at a track meet in Madrid, Spain. The defeat snaps a string of 122 wins dating back to August 26, 1977. Today's victory went to fellow American Danny Harris, who covered the 400 meters in 47.56 seconds. Moses still owns the world record in the 400-meter hurdles of 47.02 seconds. And the clubhouse lead at the rain-plagued Kemper Open belongs to Tom Kite and defending champion Greg Norman, who finished their opening rounds at 7 under par 64. Columbus's Larry Mize put in a competitive 67 to tie for 7th with Mike Bender. And there we have the sports, Darlene. And how are you feeling today?
I'm excellent.
You
couldn't be better.
That's good to hear.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
All right.
Coming up, Columbus says goodbye to one of its favorites.
You're watching TV3, WRBL Columbus.
Live from TV3's Television Center with your news, sports, and weather for the Valley. This is WRBL News Update.
Good evening. I'm Darlene Hughes.
And I'm Al Fleming. One of Georgia's most controversial new laws won't be going into the books tomorrow after all. It's an abortion notification law.
The number again, 689-0946. The summer program concludes July 17th. Usha Varma, WRBL News.
And I guess all the racket in the sports world tonight is about tennis.
That's cute.
What do you have for us? Are you on the ball?
Yes, I am. But how about I just serve it right up, okay? The top seeds cruised ahead at Wimbledon today. American Chris Evert, seeded 3rd, found rough going in South America's Rosalind Fairbanks. Evert coasted through the first set, taking that easily, 6 games to 2. But the feisty South American gunned back in the second set, breaking Evert's services and controlling the match. Fairbanks took the second set by the same 6-2 score. The women then battled out a tight 3rd set with the veteran Evert, proving that she still holds the rights to the top ranks in the tennis world, won her toughest match at Wimbledon this year. Everett won it in the 3rd set and the match 7-5. Meanwhile, in the men's action, second-seeded Johan Kriek played against second-seeded Ivan Lendl. Johan Kriek played against Lendl. The Czechoslovakian was stopped Kriek 6-3, 7-6, 6-2. Now Lendl won the French Open, and he's trying to go for a nice Grand Slam here at Wimbledon because of the fact that Boris Becker is out. And crusty old Jimmy Connors kept the United States in the men's competition. In an epic match, Connors lost the first 2 sets, 1-6, 1-6 to Michael Pernfors of Sweden, but then Jimmy got gritty and pulled out the 3rd set after being down 4 games to 1 by 7 games to 5. Connors then coasted to a 6-4, 6-2 win in the 4th and 5th sets to advance to the next round. And the Braves play again in San Francisco tonight. Last night, they shut out the Giants 1-0. But the play of the game involved umpire Billy Williams in the bottom right of your screen. Pitcher Zane Smith picked up a bunt and tagged out Youngblood before knocking out Williams. Smith recovered uninjured, but Williams suffered a broken leg. The pitcher said he felt bad about the accident, which marred his 5-hit performance. And in tonight's National League action, Atlanta was leading San Francisco in the 2nd inning 1-0. Houston lost to Cincinnati in a 10-inning marathon 4-5. Montreal beat Chicago 5-4, as did the Mets over St. Louis. In the 9th inning, Philadelphia has Pittsburgh. In the 2nd, zip-zip, San Diego and L.A. in the American League. Boston's 13-9 up on Baltimore in the 9th inning. Cleveland's nipping California. Yankees blank Toronto. In the 8th, the Chi Sox are whomping on Oakland. And Minnesota took Kansas City 3-0. Detroit has Milwaukee in the 7th. In the 8th, Seattle has Texas. And the Columbus Astros finished their 4-day series in Huntsville tonight. Last night, the Astros lost 5-1. Tonight, under the lights, the Astros trail Huntsville 4-5 in the 9th inning. And out at Maricopa Park today, we had the Little League Championships for District 8. The Eastern Astros against the Peach Rams were playing. Now, the Rams went ahead to an early lead, and they held it throughout most of the game, and they were up 9-1 in the 9th inning when the Astros tried to come back, a little comeback of their own. Here we have the Rams scoring 2 runs in the 4th or 5th innings. There's a 2-run RBI there. Now the Rams try to come back, or the Astros try to come back in the bottom in the 9th inning. However, their comeback after being down 9-1 only lasted. They were 9-4. Watch this bump here. Gritty kids. However, the Peach Rams came out with a District 8 championship, 9-4. And at 80 years of age, he's still umpiring, and CBS Sports has his report.
Okay, get 3 pitches.
On third base.
As the sun begins to set, it's time to play ball. And from the first pitch to the last out, it's obvious who's in charge. Double play. Bill Olson has been a local umpire for the past 41 years, and at the age of 80, he shows no signs of slowing down.
Well, you know why? I was always active, and I want to keep the game hustling like everything else.
Every night during the summer months, somewhere around Buffalo, Bill Olson can be found officiating a softball game. That is, unless it rains. And then he and the wife go out and play bingo. As for the winter months, well, he bowls twice a week.
Yeah. She loves her bingo, and I like to take her out.
What does she think about all this?
She just gave up on it. She's married with me 57 years, so she says, I give up.
Anybody ever give you a hard time out there?
Oh, once in a while, but not too often, because being in the game 41 years is a long time.
Feisty gentleman.
Pretty remarkable thing.
Yes.
So, coming up, a story about a fish, but not the one that got away.
Maybe helping them when they were down or if they ever had problems. If I could reach just a couple of children, that would thrill me. My job would be done.
What I did
Sam Bishop, WRBL News.
And speaking of winners, Joe Sandri in sports.
Thank you, Darlene.
What do you have for us this evening?
Oh, we got a whole variety of things, but we'll start with Wimbledon. How's that?
Okay.
Yes. Mats Wilander defeated fellow Swede Jonas Svensson in straight sets today at Wimbledon to advance to the 4th round. Wilander wins this point here with a smash at the net. Nice shot. He then wins the first set tiebreaker 7-love. Svensson handles Wielander's next volleys, but with the 3rd seed putting away the point away with another overhand smash. Svensson takes the next point with a very smooth backhander, which passes Wilander. And Princess Fergie watches from the royal box, not too interested. Wilander wraps up the match here then with Svensson's volleys into the net. Wilander wins it 7-6, 6-1, 6-3. Other top-seeded players won today. Chris Evert stopped Japan's Kumiko Okamoto 7-5, 6-love. Martina Navratilova also won her match, and in the men's action, 7th-seeded Jimmy Connors at 34 years of age advanced, as did Peter Duhan, who upset Boris Becker Friday. And the Atlanta Braves open a 3-game series tonight against the Giants at San Francisco. Atlanta lies behind San Francisco in the race for the National League's West Division. And in the National League, Atlanta did defeat San Francisco 1-0 with Zane Smith throwing a 5-hit game. In a doubleheader between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, in Game 1, Philadelphia clipped Pittsburgh 6-5, and in the 5th inning, Philadelphia's winning 5-3. The Cubs are wasting Montreal in the 6th. In the 8th, the Mets are sliding by St. Louis, and in the 1st inning, the Dodgers up 1-0 over San Diego. Over the American League, Boston's crushing Baltimore 14-3. It's in the 6th inning, it was rain delayed. California's ahead of Cleveland. In the 7th inning, Toronto and the Yankees are having a bash-a-thon. In the 8th, the Chi Sox have Oakland, and in the 5th inning, it's another rain delay. Kansas City's ahead of Minnesota. Also in Detroit, they're ahead 5-0, and another rain delay that stopped in the 5th inning. It's 3-3 in the 7th between Seattle and Texas. And the Columbus Astros played in Huntsville tonight. Last night, the Astros split a doubleheader, winning the first 6-3 and dropping the second 4-3. Tonight in Huntsville, the Astros try to hold their first-place tie in the Southern League's East Division. But in the 8th, it's the Huntsville 5 to Columbus's 1. And the Columbus Country Club geared up today for the Southeastern Junior Invitational Golf Tournament. Young golfers from most of the Southeast states participated in today's practice rounds. Featuring the best young golfers in the Southeast, the Invitational gets underway tomorrow and runs through Wednesday. It's organized by Hardaway golf coach Larry Gaither. The tournament hosts almost 175 golfers. Individuals, not teams, remain the focus of this year's event. And And actor racer Paul Newman failed to run at his regular pace out at Road Atlanta this weekend. Newman holds the track record out there in Atlanta, but they only placed 7th yesterday in his Nissan 300 ZX Turbo. Willie T. Ribbs of San Jose, California, defeated the field in his Toyota Celica Turbo. Ribbs won the IMSA Kuppenheimer Camel GTU Challenge by 23 seconds over Greg Pitchett of Alamo, California. The 74-lap race runs 300 kilometers. And the Miller 400 saw Dale Earnhardt jump out to yet another NASCAR victory yesterday. Before a record crowd of over 78,000 at Brooklyn, Michigan Speedway, Earnhardt had averaged 148.454 miles per hour over the 200-lap event. Young Davey Allison blasted down the track in a last-ditch effort to win. Allison finished only 29/100ths of a second behind Earnhardt. Earnhardt took home over $60 grand for the win. Allison's father, Bobby, placed 27th. And in this age of remote-controlled televisions, remote-controlled garage doors, and remote-controlled bombs, something finally hit the sports world that has to do with remote control. Look closely at these horses. They're really 48-inch tall Hackney ponies. And now look at their jockeys. They're remote-controlled robots, which pull the reins from the left or the right. They also activate small whips. In addition, the operator can use a small radio to talk to the horse. Promoters in Kansas City hope to use these robots for pari-mutuel betting in the future. And there we have it, Darlene. Now, those horses, the little teeny horses, are pretty happy about this because they used to be used for dog food, and they're hopefully...
That's not a good ending.
It's not a good ending.
Thanks, anyway. Stay right there. It's back to school.
Gain more than just a passing interest in the sport, as well as develop skills and camaraderie.
Well, I hate to talk bad about the Braves every day, Joe, but, you know, they must have gotten too excited over a 2-game winning streak.
Yeah, that got them pretty happy. That was the longest winning streak they've had since the All-Star break, which is,
It's been a while.
which is very sorry. Yep, the Houston Astros beat the badly batting, bungling Braves last night. Things started oh so peachy when Rick Mailer delivered the sphere to left field here. That sent Ozzie Virgil rumbling his tubby body around the bases for the score, and the Braves went up for the lead. But with a 3-game winning streak appearing on the horizon like a juicy orange, Atlanta upchucked. Rick Mailer balked here, giving Houston a free run and the lead 3-2. And then Craig Nettles knocks this shot, and the first baseman catches the ball like 2 feet from the bag, and they call Nettles out. Look at that, he's way off the bag. And manager Chuck Manager bolts out there and says to the umpire, "Phooey, phooey." Phooey, phooey, but that just didn't help, and he was still out, and Houston went on to win it 8-5. The Braves open a 3-game series opposite the Dodgers tonight. And the Greenville Braves knocked the Columbus Astros black and blue last night out at Golden Park. Greenville blasted out to a big 6-0 lead and kept cruising. Braves pitcher Pete Smith improved to 6-8 with the victory, while Blaze Isley dropped to 8-9. Final score, Greenville 9, Columbus 3. The final chapter of the 4-game series starts tonight at 7:30 in Golden Park. And the Junior League State Baseball Championship is out at Northern Field today. Eastern will be taking on the District 8. They're the District 8 champions from Columbus, and they'll be taking on Dunwoody. We'll have the scores for you at 11. And the mega fight to unify boxing's heavyweight championship between Mike Tyson and Tony Tucker gets underway tomorrow. Some of Tyson's sparring partners talk about getting the big punch.
Can there be a tougher job in sports than being Mike Tyson's sparring partner? Is this even a job or just some strange sort of masochism?
To be able to spar with Mike Tyson is the epitomization of the business. You're working with the best.
Yet, some don't mind admitting their reluctance to go into the ring with Tyson.
Sometimes in myself, to myself, I talk to myself, I say, man, like the other couple days ago, I said, damn, what the hell am I doing in here? You know?
No mercy on your sparring partners. Would they ever say anything to you in the ring like, come on, give us a break?
No, they're in there for a job. Their job is to work me over, and that's what they're in there trying to do. Because getting there with a guy like Mike Tyson, it's rough. I'm saying, it's very rough. You got to know what you're doing when you're in there. And he also need a devastating punch, you know. So you got to learn to keep your hands up and stuff like that, you know, because if you drop them, good night.
So what's it worth to be beaten into a pulp? You might be surprised to learn that Tyson's sparring partners don't do all that badly and make on the average about $1,000 a week. James Broad earns $1,500 for his suicide missions, but Broad believes that his 5 rounds a day with the champ will help him in his boxing career.
And I feel like this is the best thing that could be happening for James, bro. So I am completely satisfied and overjoyed at the chance that James Broad has of working with Mike Tyson.
Overjoyed? Well, these fighters figure if they can take Tyson's best shots, they can take anybody's.
And in a recent development, Tony Tucker's co-manager, Dennis Rappart, got a temporary injunction blocking tomorrow's fight. The manager claims Tucker owes him money from 3 fights, totaling up to $500,000. The Athletic Commission, however, should clear up the matter by fight time. And the fluid, graceful motions of an athlete in action hold the power to quieten an arena or bring thousands of people to their feet. Some describe those moments as sheer athletic poetry. And let's pause to gaze upon July's special moments. So hit it! Here we have Reggie Jackson showing his good taste during an Oakland A's game, and he comes over to the cameraman to congratulate him on his good solid work there on the field. Yeah, go Reggie. And then we have a nice little bump against the wall, and here we have a day on 4th Avenue. And there is Eric Shaw bouncing off Andre Dawson's face, and then we have some morons in some foreign country getting run over by bulls. Don't ask me why they do that, but it's sport. And finally, we have the Royals and the Cleveland Indians going at it one night. And the next night, however, they get together again and go at it again. That's baseball in the major leagues. Now we have Don King. I don't want to say anything about him. And Edwin Moses takes a disappointing fall this month on the track as he skins his knees. And we have a big fish, a nice big fish. He's still big. And finally, we have an excellent dominoes and pool combination in a new sport, beer ball.
Beer ball.
And there is the eye on July.
Thanks.
WRBL News.
And in sports action tonight, Joe, basketball fans probably glued to their sets.
Very glued, very close game.
How close?
It was so close, it was closer than Siamese twins. Playing in Game 4 of the NBA Championships in the Boston Garden, the Lakers and Celtics battled out a clincher. Here Kareem puts in a crucial basket, and Lakers went ahead with just 20 seconds left. Then Larry Bird sinks this huge three-pointer with 12 seconds on the clock to put Boston ahead 106-104. However, Kareem's fouled. He makes one shot, and then before the Boston fans misses the second free throw, but Boston puts the ball out, and Magic Johnson, with 2 seconds on the clock, puts in this alley-oop to put LA ahead 107-106. Larry Bird misses the final shot. Boston loses 106-107, and Los Angeles is now 3-1 on the series. And the Dodgers spanked Atlanta at home today for the second day straight. The Braves held tight most of the game with awesome saves like this catch by the Murph. Watch this nice little catch here. Boom. However, with both Mike Marshall and John Shelby hitting 2-run homers for the LA, the Braves fell apart. Tim Leary allowed 5 hits, walked 4, and fanned 2 over 6 innings during his first victory of the season. The loss went to the Braves' Zane Smith. Final score, LA 5, Atlanta 3. And another National League action. Chicago shaved the Mets. San Francisco crushed Cincinnati. Pittsburgh blew out Montreal. Philadelphia nipped St. Louis. Houston blanked San Diego. Over to the American League, Toronto yanked the Yankees. Boston nibbled on Baltimore. Detroit clawed Milwaukee. Minnesota stayed Kansas City. And in the second inning, California's 1 up on Cleveland. Also, Oakland's 2 up on Chicago. And Texas is blanking Seattle 1-0 in the third. And things are once again rocking and rolling in Chicago's Wrigley Field. The signing of one man has turned that team around, as WRBL's Mark Stewart tells us in this report.
Andre Dawson is the hottest thing to hit Wrigley Field since mustard on a dog. In his short tenure with the Cubs, Dawson has already managed to attract a personal platoon, as they call themselves Andre's Army, and they dominate the stands in right field.
Gotta love him. You just gotta love him, and we're glad he's here in Chicago.
There's a good love affair between Dawson and the fans out here, and I hope the Cubs sign him for a couple of years because they need him.
If this is a love affair, it certainly is a mutual one, as Dawson says he never expected this kind of reception. He has been a silent leader on the field and lets his play speak for itself. However, now when Dawson speaks, just about everyone listens. That's not bad for a guy who signed for about half price. But his fans say that's part of the mystique of Andre, because he cares more about the numbers on the board than the numbers in his banking account.
I think I have peace of mind now. As Scott Sanderson mentioned a couple days ago, I'm like a little kid out there just having a lot of fun. And I'm allowing myself to relax, to go out and settle down and let things happen naturally.
Holy cow! What more could one man do?
Mark Stewart, WRBL Sports.
And the Columbus Astros finished their 4-game series with Orlando tonight. Last night, the Twins spanked Columbus 10-2. Tonight, Columbus lost again, 5-2. And the State Board of Education prepared a new no pass, no play proposal today. High school students who end the school year without enough credits for graduation could lose eligibility for a year in all extracurricular activities, including sports. The proposal also threatens the jobs of any teacher, coach, or administrator who knowingly allows violations of the no pass, no play rule. Students could restore eligibility through summer school. And the Columbus Boys Club received a special guest today, former NFL player Ken Johnson, who started at defensive end for the Cincinnati Bengals for 8 years. Ken came to Columbus to talk about the dangers of drugs and also the positive things the boys clubs did for him. He found an eager audience.
Do is go out across America and speak in the high schools to students, and we share our experiences, and we also talk about the drugs and alcohol issues today that are facing a lot of our young people and trying to help them and giving them encouragement to deal with that problem. I have a real love for the boys club. I was involved with the boys club when I was growing up, and it played a major role in my development as a young kid growing up. So I have a real desire to work with youth and help in any way I can. So coming out today was no problem. All right, you watched some of the games?
Yeah, I was in Dome.
Who's your favorite football team?
Hey, I got to give it to them, Chicago Bears.
Chicago Bears.
And pro wrestling, like anything else, takes practice. The match usually sounds a lot worse than it looks, and people accuse the pro wrestling profession of being more entertainment than sport. It's been criticized for being fake, but pro wrestlers defend their sport by saying it's the real thing, and they dare the untrained to take a few falls in the ring with them. They take their job very seriously.
Professional wrestlers are some of the proudest people in the world. I'm sure, they've never backed down from anybody. You want to get in the ring with them for a few minutes, and I'm sure any of them will show you how fake it is. There's commonplace broken arms, broken legs, broken backs. I mean, it is a dangerous sport. People don't realize how dangerous it is until they get in the ring. Somebody that's never gotten in the ring before gets in the ring and hits the ropes and breaks their ribs. It's very easy if you don't know what you're doing.
No matter what the truth is, you do have to give wrestlers credit for their strength, stamina, personality, and choreography.
A personality is very important, to be able to talk to the crowd and talk to the audience, either be hated or loved.
I'm the master star and nobody beats me. I don't care about pain. I like it.
You gonna start wrestling, Carly?
I don't think so. Right. Thanks a lot, Joe. Coming up next, a bit of the old and...
And the question of the day is, who will Auburn be playing in football on October 15th? A change in the schedule may leave Auburn without an opponent. Florida State signed up for a 10-year series, and former Auburn athletic director Ovell Janes thought that the series would begin in 1988. But Florida State athletic director understood it would be in 1989, so Florida State filled the October 15th playing date, and Auburn did not. And she's the toughest pitcher in women's softball. She throws faster than most major league pitchers. Meet Kathy Aronson. She has been clocked at 96 miles per hour with a softball. Kathy Aronson is called the best women's softball pitcher in America. She has 225 career wins, and in one game, she struck out 20 of 21 batters faced. Last year, no one scored a run off Kathy Aronson. Her pitches move. We're talking fast as Nolan Ryan, but it's easier for her to pitch than Nolan.
Well, first of all, it's an underhand motion, so it is a very natural motion. I'm working with my body versus against when you throw overhand. That helps in the first place. Secondly, it takes a lot of practice. We're also throwing from only 40 feet away versus 60 feet, so the ball doesn't have to travel as fast.
Play catch with her, you look like Swiss cheese.
Thanks, Joe. When we come back, some medieval tricks. You know, the Braves have always had their tough times with the Dodgers.
It's very true. They started off the series having a really tough time, but last night they flexed their muscle. They put it together.
On time.
Yeah, it was good. The Braves finally put it together last night against the Dodgers. Right-hander Doyle Alexander pitched a masterful four-hitter yesterday, chumping the Dodgers down to size. Ted Simmons smacked a two-run double in the 6th inning, and the Murph blasted a 425-foot shot over the center field wall to score Albert Hall. Murphy now holds 18 homers on the season. The Braves won it 7-1. Atlanta now loads up the Tribe and heads for the division-leading Cincinnati to start a 4-game series with the Reds tonight. Larry McWilliams starts for Atlanta, while Cincinnati counters with Ted Power. And the Columbus Astros take on the Orioles in Charlotte tonight. Last night, the Astros presented the Ken Caminiti Show, routing the O's 7-2. Caminiti went 4 for 5, including a homer and a double. The victory moved the Astros within 3 games of first-place Charlotte, and Blaze Isley picked up the win. The Los Angeles Lakers can wrap up the NBA championship tonight with a victory over the Celtics in the Garden. The Lakers come into the game with a commanding 3-1 lead over the defending champions. The Celtics, however, aren't ready to concede the crown yet. The Celtics must be able to stop the Lakers' fast break and hit the offensive glass with all 5 players if they plan to be around for Game 6. The Lakers, on the other hand, know they must limit the Celtics to 1 shot and run at every opportunity. You can see Game 5 tonight on TV3 right here, beginning at 9 o'clock. And Charles Lefty Drizel is back in the news after the comments he made about drugs in New York on Tuesday. Drizel, however, has a different version of what he said. WRBL's Mark Stewart has more in this report.
Former University of Maryland basketball coach Lefty Drizel has never been one to shy away from expressing his opinion on controversial issues. However, many people were outraged yesterday when the Associated Press reported that Drizel was advocating drug use as an enhancer to perform better on the basketball court. Drizel, though, says he was taken out of context, that he was asked about drug testing, which he is very much in favor of because he feels athletes are taking drugs to help them perform better.
How would I, as a coach who had one of my star players and one of my dear friends, someone I love dearly, drop dead from using cocaine a year ago, advocated? I mean, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. And for people to say that about me, I'm very hurt and upset by it.
Drizel is considered one of the top candidates for the head coaching job of the new NBA expansion team in Charlotte and hopes this recent controversy won't hurt his chances.
Certainly don't condone the use of drugs. I'm violently opposed to drugs. And, whether it hurts my chance in the NBA is really immaterial to me. I have a good job. I don't need to work anymore the rest of my life. So, that really doesn't bother me.
Nobody is sure how this will affect Drizel's future in basketball, but one thing is for sure, Drizel is always going to speak his mind. Mark Stewart, WRBL Sports.
And former Los Angeles Clippers coach Don Chaney became the Atlanta Hawks' new assistant coach today, replacing Willis Reed, who resigned last month to take an assistant's job in Sacramento. Chaney signed a 2-year contract for an undisclosed amount. Reed earned $125,000 a year in that position. And a lot of people are questioning Michael Spink's decision to drop out of the HBO heavyweight tournament to fight Jerry Cooney. However, Spinks feels he doesn't owe anyone an explanation, and he's concentrating on Cooney. Most experts feel Cooney doesn't deserve a shot at the crown, and the only reason he's getting it is because he's white. Spinks feels Cooney not only deserves the chance, but will give Spinks all he can handle in the ring as the two of them go toe-to-toe in Atlantic City's Trump Plaza on Monday night.
A very rough match, very, very rough, very difficult, very tough, very vigorous, very tiring, very exhausting. I mean, I can just back and forth, back and forth. Sounds like a terrible night, for the both of us. I mean, because it's going to be a tough fight.
Sounds very motivated.
Who's your pick?
I pick Spinks.
Spinks, okay. Thanks, Joe. Coming up, a peek at the 13th century.
You're watching TV3, WRBL Columbus.
A scary incident today in baseball.
Yes, very scary.
Chicago.
A lot of violence up in Wrigley Field, and we'll report on that in just a moment. But we'll start off with last night's baseball with the Columbus Astros. Yep, the Astros tried to pluck the Memphis Chicks tonight in Game 3 of a 4-game series. Last night, before a packed crowd out at Golden Park, the Astros saw their series get tied 1-1. The game went scoreless until the top of the 6th inning when Memphis scored off this play. They added another to go ahead 2-zip, and then in the bottom of the 6th, Norman Brock and others swatted hits, loading the bases. They only managed to score 1 run, though, and that was Columbus's lone run of the evening, and the Chicks egged Columbus 4-1. Tonight's game starts at 7:30. And yesterday, the Atlanta Braves game opposite the New York Mets got rained out. The Braves were leading in the 2nd inning 2-zip off of Dale Murphy's 25th homer of the year. However, the game, as I said, was rained out. And the Braves resumed play today against the New York Mets minutes ago in the first game of a doubleheader. It's zip-zip in the 1st inning. And in the National League's only other afternoon game, Chicago took San Diego. However, there's more to it than that. Wrigley Field saw a bench-clearing brawl today. San Diego's Eric Shue hit Andre Dawson in the face with this pitch. Dawson down on the ground, and violence erupted after that. Sutcliffe went after Shue, very upset. Both benches cleared, and Harry Carey reports the rest.
Is out there. He's on his feet. Now he's looking for Chow. He's looking for Chow. Where is... Whoa! Look at this.
And Shaw was chased after again by Dawson, who tried to chase him into the dugout. Shaw tried to run away from the whole thing, and he almost didn't get far enough. He got in the dugout, and Dawson chased after him. Dawson suffered mouth and lip injuries. He received x-rays and stitches at a local hospital. And you've heard the complaints about college football players who get an easy ride, full scholarships, and plenty of special favors. Well, CBS Sports reports about players who work hard over the summer at Alabama.
If you're one of those people who think college athletes have it easy, well, watch this. These University of Alabama football and basketball players have no time on their hands this summer. They're holding down summer jobs, lifting weights, and for some, there's summer school mixed in. Not exactly your typical summer vacation. Take Anthony Smith, for example, working 35 to 40 hours a week for a beverage company.
I think the real reason I got a job was because, a lot of people say, well, the football team's always getting easy rides and all this kind of stuff. Just showing me, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to do the best I can do.
We take apart some of the older Nautilus machines from the track weight room, baseball weight room, and we take them apart, sand them down, and repaint them, make them look almost new, and then, just do that.
Meanwhile, Willie Shepard and friends are on the sling blade crew, chopping down some weeds near a pond at the university. Who makes sure these guys work? Herman Shelton has been watching over athletes like these for 25 years.
Yeah, I go around and check on Rat Smart, but lots of times I get busy and don't get to check on them. I do a lot more work of my own here, and it all depends on how busy I am.
So this summer program accomplishes two things. One, it provides the athlete with some money for the summer, and two, it keeps them close to the weight room, and that makes the coaches happy. In Tuscaloosa, I'm Jeff Spiegel for CBS News.
And finally, the annual Running of the Bulls in Spain got underway today. Thundering through narrow streets, local morons try to stay ahead of the sharp horns and pounding hooves, trying to avoid being turned into lifeless lumps of broken bones and pummeled flesh. Now watch around these bulls around a corner up here. There's bodies in the street. These people are crazy. However, this happens every year out in Spain, and they run them into the local bull arenas, trying to get them agitated for the crowds and the fights to come up ahead. And there we have the local runnings in the streets. Reminds me of traffic in Columbus. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a healthy sport. What do you think, Sam?
That is crazy. It's like they have to prove their manhood or something like that.
Yeah, better ways.
Thanks, Joe.
100-piece lighting design. And in sports, I hope the Braves were lighting up the field tonight with some action, or is it bad news, Braves?
It's bad news, Braves. Yeah,
Let's don't cry. Just give us a review.
All right, let's be manly about this. Atlanta Braves lost their 10th of their last 13 road games tonight. Against the Montreal on the Expos turf, things did start well. Here, Oberfeld jams this double to score Deion James, but then the Expos Blats blazed and Atlanta crumbled like a cookie in a garbage disposal. Ken Griffey did manage to tie it up later, but Atlanta still lost. Final, Montreal 5, Atlanta 4. In the rest of the National League, Cincinnati took the Mets 5-2. In the 7th, Philly heads Houston. In the 1st inning, St. Louis is 1-up on San Diego, zip-zip with LA and Pitt. In the 1st inning, same thing with Chicago and San Francisco. Over to the American League in the 10th inning, Oakland has Boston 6-4. Detroit blanks Seattle. The Tigers are really hot right now, and they're gaining on Toronto and the Yankees. In the 9th inning, Cleveland and the White Sox are tied as Minnesota's ahead of Toronto 3-2. In the 8th, Baltimore has Kansas City. In the 7th, Milwaukee's taking California, and the Yankees are stopping Texas in the 6th. In Southern League action, in the bottom of the 6th inning, Columbus has Birmingham 8-6. In Senior League softball tonight, American tried to knock off Pioneer for the District 8 championship out at Double Churches Field. American tried to wrap up the double elimination contest tonight. However, here, American's Stephanie Daniels jams one to left field, but Pioneer's Jennifer Winston is there for the catch. And Pioneer's pitcher, Amy Barnes, held up throughout the night before a large, noisy crowd. There's Amy right there. American did rally late in the game. Tina Malloy drives in this run, but it's not enough. Pioneer hangs on to pull out a 7-5 win. The championship game takes place tomorrow night at Double Churches Field at 2 o'clock. And Mrs. French out at Pro Bass Marine called me today and said, Joe, we've got a really big fish out here. And I said, are you sure? And she said, you bet. So I went out there to check it out. And sure enough, she wasn't lying to me. And Mrs. French just doesn't lie. There was a huge cooler filled with one huge fish. They greeted me when I got there, and Columbus's Bruce Barnes caught the 32-pound, 2-ounce freshwater monster on a 20-pound test line. Mr. Barnes grabbed that baby on a single hook out at Lake Martin while fishing with Mo Andrews today. And there's talk of sending the fish to Hollywood to play the lead in the remake of Moby Dick. And the second round of the British Open finished today in Scotland. The rainy weather forced Seve Ballesteros to break out an umbrella from the drenching weather. Seve finished 1 over par. PGA money leader Paul Azinger here took the lead today with another 68. Look at that classic chip in over there. To put him at 6 under par, total of 136. Yesterday's leader, Roger Davis, who shot a disappointing 73 after his blistering 64 yesterday, is tied for second with Payne Stewart, Nick Galdo, and Jerry Taylor at 5 under par. Now, Larry Mize of Columbus, who did really well yesterday, was also at 5 under par with the rest of everyone until the very late holes of that round. He finished 3 under and is tied for 10th with a whole slew of people. And track star Edwin Moses dropped another race today. Moses snapped a 122-win streak last month in Madrid, Spain. Yesterday in Paris, a light rain soaked the track 30 minutes before the race. However, Moses came out, he was leading the race as he breaks out ahead right here around these corners, and he goes into the 8th and 9th hurdles. He has a very comfortable lead. There he goes over the 8th hurdle, the 7th hurdle, and he comes up on the 8th hurdle, and he's doing well, and he trips up and falls flat on his face. It's a brutal spill, and he loses the race. Now, Amadou Diaba of Senegal won, and Danny Harris, who beat Moses last month in Madrid, Spain, placed second. It was reported that Moses cried bitterly after the race, but he was very disappointed but not hurt. And here's the real-life story of a pool shark who put his talents to good use.
This guy's not looking for your basic friendly game of pool. He's Gene the Glove Catron, one of the world's top pool players and trick shot artists. Last weekend, Catron was at Snoopy's, a Tuscaloosa club, to show off some of his billiard wizardry. He wowed spectators, firing balls in from all angles and directions. But not just a trick shot artist, the Glove also plays in professional tournaments across the country. The purses for these tournaments are good, but the Glove saw trick shots as a way to keep his pockets full.
I saw people were getting paid for it, and I realized that if I could do it better than anybody else, I could get paid for it, and play world-class competition at the same time, and make extra money doing trick shot exhibitions. You know.
That's when he hit on the idea of using dominoes to knock the balls in. This shot, highlight of the exhibition, the Glove buried 27 balls and left the can standing.
Well, he's on the ball, huh?
Good. That's very good. Thanks a lot, Chuck. Coming up, some students just finishing the school year.
Guess the Braves could take a few lessons from the Tigers, huh?
Yes, the Tigers are purring along these days. They're doing well, though. Yes. The streaking Detroit Tigers blasted up to 1/2 game behind the first-place Yankees yesterday. In Detroit, they were hosting the Chicago White Sox, and Chicago took a 1-0 early lead off Donnie Hill's 4th-inning smash off the upper wall deck here. Deck wall there was a nice shot. But in the bottom of the fourth, Alan Trammell stepped up to the plate to jam this shot over the wall, but that failed to stop Ivan Calderon, who scaled the wall like a cat on fire to make this wild catch. Watch his catch here. Beautiful catch. He just climbs right up the wall there and steals that Alan Trammell home run. However, exploits aside, the Tigers went on to win their 8th out of the last 10 games. Frank Tanner took the win, and the Tigers are up next to the Yankees in the American League East. The Atlanta Braves host a 3-game series opposite the Houston Astros starting tonight. Last night, the Braves lost their Hall of Fame exhibition game to the New York Yankees 3-0. Zane Smith will be starting tonight for Atlanta. And the Columbus Astros finished their series against Charlotte right last night. Astros pitcher Don Dunster pitched a shutout until he got replaced in the 9th inning, and the Columbus defense did the rest, holding on to the Orioles, keeping them down all night for the win, 4-1. And you'll see that exemplified here by a quick double play coming up. It's a nice defensive action all night by the Astros. Okay, Dunster grabs that shot, throws it to second, and back to first for the double play, and the Astros win it.
Wouldn't want to pay that fine. Been a busy guy back there in sports.
Yes.
This evening, what you have for us?
Oh, I got a lot of I got some Braves action. They're on the up and up tonight, so that's good.
Give it to us.
Yeah, yeah. The Braves continued stomping on Houston tonight in Fulton County Stadium. The Astros started strong with Bill Duran's 14th homer of the year, which tied Joe Morgan's record for the most homers for a second baseman. However, the Astros held a 2-1 lead entering the 6th off of that homer. And then Perry doubled, stole third, and escaped a rundown off of this shot when Astros third baseman Ken Caminiti dropped the ball on this rundown. Caminiti came from Columbus recently, and he drops the ball, and Perry goes home for the score to tie it up. And then in the 7th, Big Dale Murphy steps up to the plate and connects on his 27th homer of the year, and the Braves went on to take it 5-3. Over to the rest of the National League, Montreal massacred the Chicago Cubs 11-3, and Cincinnati clubbed San Diego 15-5. In the 9th inning, Pittsburgh is losing to Philly 4-3. In the 6th, the Mets have St. Louis 4-2, and San Francisco and the LA Dodgers are 0-0 over in the 1st inning. In the American League, the Yankees blanked Kansas City. California nibbled on Oakland, and Seattle took Minnesota 8-3. Baltimore stopped Cleveland. The Chi Sox down Detroit, and Detroit's hopes for getting up top of the AL East. In the 8th, Boston has Toronto 6-5. In the bottom of the 6th, Texas has taken Milwaukee 7-4. And the Columbus Astros pummeled the Greenville Braves in the pudding tonight. After giving up a solo homer early in the contest, pitcher Dodie Rather allowed only 3 men on base in 6.5 innings to down Greenville 11-3. Game 3 of the 4-day series starts tomorrow. And the Junior League Championship Tournament continued today at Northern Field at Salmon Road. Columbus's Eastern took on Dunwoody in the winners' finals. Dunwoody tied the score at 2-2 on this play. Brutal. Eastern catcher Spencer Williams got shaken up in the scuffle. Here he is rolling around, but he came back. He wasn't too happy about that. Next, though, Eastern returned the favor. Chris Maley scored, and then pitcher Ken Brown came in, and he said, I'm going to give that back to you guys, and he wasted their catcher. And Eastern went on to win it 10-2, with Spencer going 3 for 3 and hitting 2 RBIs. Pitcher Brown took the win. Eastern plays for the championships against the winner of the losers bracket Friday at 4 o'clock. And jockey Angel Cordero continued celebrating his 6,000th victory today. He became the 4th man in history to win 6,000 after taking 2 races in New Jersey.
That's it. That's it. Look right at me, Angel. That's it. That's it. Just like that. Hold that, please.
I looked at the wire and I looked at the horses next to me, and I said, maybe I'm going to make it. And when she finally got there, you know, I said, how about that?
Just how about that?
That's it. That's all I could thought about it, you know, because you try so hard and you get very close, and for some reason, the majority of the athletes, when they get close to the record, they slow down.
Arriba! And the Pan Am basketball team beat an NBA All-Star squad in exhibition action last night in Indianapolis. This marked the first of 3 exhibition games the Pan Am squad scheduled against NBA players. Indiana Pacer Chuck Pearson led with 33 points, and Detroit Pistons Isaiah Thomas went out of his way to make a good play here as he leaps over the media bench. And he decides, well, I'll be polite now and go back the right way. And a Pan Am player says, whoa, buddy, hang on for a moment. We don't want you out there scoring against us.
I think the thing that pleased me the most was our play under pressure in the last 6-8 minutes of the game. I thought it was a nip and tuck game all the way, and we did some things fairly well and some things not so well. But when it came nitty-gritty time, no matter who we had in there, they made the right defensive plays, and then we got a lot of transition baskets off some key steals, 2 or 3 key blocks, and other than giving up a free throw or 2, we didn't give them any field goals.
I love their coach.
I shall. Right after this newscast. Yes, the Braves continued their slide into the dark depths of baseball oblivion tonight. In Philadelphia, all-star Mike Schmidt started things off with this double off Charlie Puleo, which bounces off the wall. And he goes around to second base. Next, Jeltz cracks this base hit in the left field, scoring Dayton. And the Braves went on to lose their 7th of their last 8 games. And that's also losing their 20th of their last 28 games. Final score, Atlanta's 1 to Philadelphia's 5. And another National League action in the first inning, St. Louis and L.A. are at zip-zip. San Diego clipped Pittsburgh 2-1. And Cincinnati stopped Montreal 8-4. Moving to the American League, Baltimore nibbled on Kansas City, Cleveland rode the Rangers, and Toronto toppled Minnesota. In the bottom of the 6th, the Milwaukee Brewers are taking Oakland 8-3. And the Columbus Astros finished their 4-game series opposite the Memphis Chicks tonight. Last night, the Chicks plucked Columbus 6-4. Tonight, in the bottom of the 6th, Memphis is beating Columbus 4-2. And former Atlanta Crackers and Milwaukee Braves pitcher Don McMahon died yesterday. The 57-year-old McMahon suffered a heart attack while pitching batting practice for the LA Dodgers. He threw batting practice for nearly every Dodgers home game. He played for the Crackers in 1954 and broke into the major leagues with the Braves in 1957. He appeared in a total of 864 games, all but 2 of them as a reliever. An amazing District 8 Major League Championship took place tonight out at Britt David Park. Peach clashed with American. Peach built up a 3-run lead going to the last inning off the strong pitching of Brian Harris. But then the camera blew up, but our specially commissioned WRBL art team commissioned an artist to make sure that we have, these are exclusive paintings, by the way, done by Michael Bicknell of the Art Institute of Pampeluna, Italy. And what happened here is I'll run you right through what happened. With 2 outs and 2 strikes in the final inning, Lafayette Stanley of American hits this 2-run double to tie the game and send it into extra innings 3-3. And then, in the bottom of the 7th, with nobody on, Rusty Law hits the game-winning blast off Brian Harris, and with a crowd cheering, it goes out the stadium. Boom! Whack! Amazing. And American took the All-Star Championship 4-3 in a hard-fought win. Shane Polk, the winning pitcher. And some fans just get too brutal. Crowds of people waiting to enter yesterday's Pan Am basketball scrimmage between the United States team almost rioted, crushing people through the entryway. And the crowds calmed down once they entered the arena, and the games will officially be starting August 7th in Indianapolis with star players like Navy's David Robinson, who plans to attend the Olympics, who's also the 1986 Player of the Year. The coach reviewed the players' performance after the scrimmage and said they are doing okay, and they should do very well in the Pan Am Games and hopefully in the Olympics tonight.
Live from TV3's Television Center with your news, sports, and weather for the Valley.
Tonight, Atlanta opens a series against Philadelphia in Fulton County Stadium. And Kansas City and Cleveland went at it again for the 2nd time in a row last night. Things started rather nicely when Danny Jackson threw this obviously nasty pitch at Brett Butler. Now watch this pitch. He obviously wasn't really intended for the plate. However, Butler stayed his temper, stayed cool, and umps went out to warn the pitcher that if he does that again, he won't get his ice cream and figgy pudding after the game. So everyone was all set. They went back. Butler got back in the batting box, and everyone seemed happy. And Jackson winds up and throws another sterling pitch. This time Butler was a little bit upset, and he went out to tell Jackson exactly why he was upset, and the brawl went on from there. Now, what happened is today the president of the National League acted to curb this violence. Bart Giametti stated that any, quote, intended physical harm to an opposing player, unquote, now makes offending players subject to severe penalties, including suspension from league play. Brawls like this one alarmed Giametti, and he felt that he needed to do something immediately and warn players that further violent behavior will be met with strict discipline. And the all-star picks for both leagues appeared yesterday. The New York Yankees filled half the American League's starting positions. Dave Winfield, Don Mattingly, Willie Randolph, and Ricky Henderson won spots in the National League. And St. Louis's Jack Clark took the most votes in the National League. And at first base, the Cubs' Sandberg. And we have Ozzie Smith. He had 2.5 million votes in the National League for St. Louis. Mike Schmidt is again, for his zillionth time, appearing at third base. And the Mets' Gary Carter beat out Ozzie Virgil for a catching position. In the outfield, we have Darryl Strawberry, Eric Davis, and Andre Dawson. Dale Murphy, again, did not make it. And the Columbus Astros fell behind early in the third inning to Memphis last night. Never recovering, they lost a close one to the Chicks, 4-3. Now we have the sports.
Why do you shop at West? At West, satisfaction's guaranteed. Since 1892, they got what you need.
Was a very genuine, sincere person, saved us a lot of money, and that really helped us to make up our minds to purchase the Honda from Ken Thomas.
Good people save with Ken Thomas today, 'cause we're good people too.
Take a look at today's.
Live from TV3's Television Center with your news, sports, and weather for the Valley. This is WRBL News.
11. The all-time high school basketball scoring record fell last night in Mason City, Iowa. Lynn Lorenzen, a 6'2" senior, scored the 6,251st point of her career to topple the 18-year-old record. Lorenzen finished the game with 54 points, although she needed only 39 to set that record. Lorenzen, who plays for the top-ranked undefeated Ventura High School team, averaged 65 points per game this season. The setting of that record brought a lot of excitement to her town, which is very economically depressed, and Lynn seemed to handle the event quite well herself. After the game, she talked about it. You got the wrong video up, sorry. Okay, over to college basketball. The #2 team in the country, the Indiana Hoosiers, got a big scare from Wisconsin. The Badgers brought the game into triple overtime before Indiana's Dean
Hammer.
Hello.
Hi. What happens in the sports today? I didn't even look over your copy tonight or peek over your shoulder or anything, so I presume we have an exciting night.
Yes, we do. We have a sad story in baseball, and then we have a lot of basketball and golf and all kinds of sports.
All right, well, let's have it.
Okay. Kansas City Royals manager Dick Hauser resigned today, ending his struggle to lead his team despite a brain tumor.
A lot of things, and what I thought about was probably just going ahead and hanging them up for this year.
Hauser's struggle received nationwide attention last. Lakers in the second are 59-56 leaders.
Very good, Joe. Do you remember the Beatles? Were you a Beatle fan?
When I was in my diapers, yes.
Well, it says that right here, just about. When Beatlemania hit the United States in the 1960s, when Joe was in his diapers, it took the nation by storm. Now record company officials are hoping the Beatles can do it again now that Joe is out of his diapers. Sarah James reports.
We do. You know I love you.
These are the Beatles most of us are familiar with. That was back in the early days of rock and roll.
His manager Chuck Tanner called his second straight win over Houston gorgeous today. Last night, the Astros started strong with Bill Duran's 14th homer of the year. This tied Joe Morgan's record for the most homers for a second baseman. The Astros held a 2-1 lead entering the 6th inning. Then when Gerald Perry doubled, stole third, and then found himself in this rundown after this shot between third and home. Perry jogged back and forth, but the Astros' Ken Caminiti, third baseman, who just came up from the Columbus Astros farm team, dropped the ball and blew that, and Perry cruised home. And then in the 7th inning, Big Dale Murphy connects. Watch this ball. Sorry, Charlie, that's out of here for his 27th homer of the year to put the Braves up for an eventual 5-3 win. Atlanta hosts Game 3 this afternoon with Rick Mahler taking his 6-10 record to the mound against the Astros' Bob Knepper. And with an 11-game hitting streak and 83 runs batted in, Oakland A's rookie Mark McGwire hit his 37th home run last night with his solo shot to center field in the bottom of the 4th. McGwire ties the American League record for rookies set in 1950 by ex-Indian Al Rosen with 37 home runs. He also leads the major leagues. Now, the major league record is 38. If he hits another one, he'll tie that and go ahead to, hopefully this year he'll beat all those records. And there's some talk that he may approach Babe Ruth's mark. He's already ahead of that clip. We'll see what happens. And the Columbus Astros pounded the Greenville Braves in Golden Park last night after giving up a solo home run early in the contest. Pitcher Dodie Rather allowed only 3 men on base in the following 6.5 innings, and they downed the Greenville Braves 11-3. Rather also hit a 2-run homer himself to cap things off, and Columbus just powered their way through that game. Game 3 takes place tonight in Golden Park, starting at 7:30. And brutal Junior League action continued last night in the race for the state championship at Northern Salmon Road Field. Columbus's Eastern took on Dunwoody in the winners finals. Dunwoody tied the score, coming up here 2-2 on this poke. Oh, nice shot. Oh, that's the wrong tape. Sorry, Charlie. All right, anyhow, Eastern catcher Spencer Williams got a bit dazed in a scuffle that went on during that game. And next, Eastern returned the favor when Chris Maley scored and pitcher Ken Brown cracked into Dunwoody catcher Danny Apple. Eastern broke it open to win with Spencer going 3 for 3 and hitting 2 RBIs. Pitcher Brown took the win, and Eastern plays for the championship against the winner of the losers bracket Friday at 4 o'clock. And in today's losers bracket action, Monroe eliminated Okmulgee 3-2. And there was that score. And there will be some more action for you tonight concerning the junior leagues. And the Dallas Cowboys and Houston Oilers.
Sports action tonight, fancy fashion coordinated Joe Sandri. Everybody's wondering what I'm talking about. Show those suspenders.
All right, all right. You see him, huh?
No, what do you have in sports for us? Sorry to do that to you.
Well, thanks, Darlene. Well, we have people going around in circles. We have the Firecracker 400 opening qualifying round results, Darlene. I'm sure that's got you plenty excited, but here we go.
Sparky.
Hueytown, Alabama's rookie Davey Allison took the pole away from Bill Elliott in the opening round of today's qualifying for Saturday's Firecracker 400. The high-flying Allison turned the tables on Elliott, who beat him for the Daytona 500 pole in February. As expected, speeds topped out well below the top qualifying effort of nearly 204 miles per hour set by Sterling Marlin last July. The slower speeds this week resulted from smaller carburetors. NASCAR forced the racers to use the smaller carburetors because they want the cars to run slower because of the crash by Davey Allison's father, Bobby.
Like new, we pledge to give you our best.
I won't quit until it's right.
You're watching TV3, WRBL Columbus. Live from TV3's Television Center with your news, sports, and weather for the Valley. This is WRBL News Update.
Good evening, I'm Darlene Hughes. Topping our national news tonight on WRBL, a scandal rocked Severna Park, Maryland recently when Michael Alden Stover married a mysterious blonde woman named Elizabeth. Apparently, Stover, known for his loud bragging about his tennis game, will use the marriage as an excuse for losing future tennis matches. Stover plans to honeymoon in beautiful Seoul, South Korea, where he intends to approach government leaders about population control. And as always, planning ahead for the future, Stover wants to represent Colonel Ollie North once he graduates from the University of Maryland Law School. Now his wife Elizabeth will also join the act. She will be playing Fawn Hall in the upcoming movie, The D.C. Shredding Massacre, starring Freddy Krueger as Hosni Gorbanafar and Vince Marchesano as Senator Inouye. Stay tuned. We'll have full consummation coverage live here on WRBL-TV 3.
Wow! What's new? New flame-broiled mini cheeseburgers. Only at Burger King. New burger bundles. Tasty little guys. But get them while you can, because they won't be around for long. New burger bundles. Are these good? Or what? Burger King, the best food for fast times.
Diasol's Cadillac and Dias Nissan are going for the race.
Well, Joe, the Braves are finally doing what everybody had predicted they would do back in the spring.
That's it. They're losing like there's no tomorrow. But I think they're just being modest. They know they can win. They're just trying to fool everyone else. That's what they're doing.
You think that's it, huh?
Yeah, that's what I think. The Atlanta Braves sent Rick Mailer to the mound tonight to face the Phillies again in Philadelphia. Last night, Philadelphia's Mike Schmidt knocked the Braves pitcher Charlie Palaio for this double off the wall. And he throws it back, but it's too late, and he goes for a double. Next, Geltz cracks this base hit into left field, which will be scoring Dayton. And meanwhile, Philadelphia lefty Don Carmen held the Braves' bat still. Atlanta shriveled up like a punctured beach ball, losing their 7th game out of their last 8 since the All-Star break, and their 20th in their last 28 games. Final score, Atlanta's 1 to Philadelphia's 5. Game 2 takes place tonight. And the Columbus Astros start a 4-game series against Charlotte in Golden Park tonight. Last night, Columbus dropped another to the Chicks up in Memphis, 2-5. Tonight's game starts at 7:30. The Astros need to dominate this series if they want to make it to the Southern League Tournament at the end of the year. And the District 8 Major League Championship took place out at Britt David Park last night. Peach clashed with American before a large crowd. Peach built up a 2-run lead going into the last inning, but American's Lafayette Stanley hit a 2-run double in the bottom of the 6th, and Rusty Law followed with a solo homer in the 7th to give American the championship 4-3. Shane Polk was the winning pitcher. And Alabama football coach Bill Curry says Anthony Ramsey, the highly recruited lineman who signed with the Tide last year, won't be back this fall. The Gulfport, Mississippi athlete told Curry he disliked college football, but Curry says he heard Ramsey change his mind and just wants to play elsewhere. And former Heisman Trophy winner Bo Jackson, now with Kansas City Royals baseball team, still has the sports world in a tizzy. Denver Bronco football coach Dan Reeves commented on Jackson's plans to play both football and baseball professionally.
It's still a team sport, and if you treat one individual different than you treat everybody else, that's awful tough. And if he doesn't come into October, November, and not go through a training camp, it's going to be I'd have to wait and see if a guy can really come in and really contribute to a football team that late in the year.
Do you think that if he were to give up baseball altogether, that he would be the force he was in college?
No, there's no question. I mean, if he concentrated on football, I think he could be a great player. If he concentrates on baseball, I think he'd be a great player there. But I just think it's like anything in life. You can't spread yourself too thin.
And yesterday's qualifying round at Talladega Speedway revealed no surprises. Dawsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott took the pole position for the 6th year straight.
The smaller carburetors slowed the cars down a little, but that did not keep Bill Elliott from capturing the pole for Sunday's Talladega 500. Awesome Bill pushed his Coors Milling Ford around the 2.66-mile tri-oval at an average speed of 203.827 miles per hour. Dale Earnhardt, NASCAR's hottest driver, had the second fastest lap. He drove his Wrangler Chevy at 203.459 miles per hour. Young Davey Allison will start third. Bobby's son traveled the track at a 203.079 clip. Darrell Waltrip drove his Tide machine to 4th place with a run of 202.474. The Budweiser Chevy of Terry Labonte will fill the 5th position on Sunday. Morgan Shepherd earned the 6th spot. Veteran Bobby Allison, winner of the recent Firecracker 400 at Daytona, captured the 7th slot with a run of 202.230 miles per hour.
Yes, and if you want to see that race, it's going to be blacked out in this area, so you'll have to go out to Talladega, but you can watch right here for the highlights, Sam. All right?
Okay, thanks, Joe. Still ahead, a climbing pit bulldog.
Georgia Chevy
Boys Club says the clinic will help the boys gain more than just a passing interest in the sport, as well as develop skills and camaraderie.
Well, I hate to talk bad about the Braves every day, Joe, but, you know, they must have gotten too excited over a 2-game winning streak.
Yeah, they got them pretty happy. That was the longest winning streak they've had since the All-Star break, which is,
It's been a while.
which is very sorry. Yep, the Houston Astros beat the badly batting, bungling Braves last night. Things started oh so peachy when Rick Mahler delivered the sphere to left field here. That sent Ozzie Virgil rumbling his tubby body around the bases for the score, and the Braves went up for the lead. But with a 3-game winning streak appearing on the horizon like a juicy orange, Atlanta upchucked. Rick Mahler balked here, giving Houston a free run and the lead 3-2. And then Craig Nettles knocks this shot, and the first baseman catches the ball like 2 feet from the bag, and they call Nettles out. Look at that, he's way off the bag. And manager Chuck Manager bolts out there and says to the umpire, "Phooey, phooey." Phooey, phooey, but that just didn't help, and he was still out, and Houston went on to win it 8-5. The Braves open a 3-game series opposite the Dodgers tonight. And the Greenville Braves knocked the Columbus Astros black and blue last night out at Golden Park. Greenville blasted out to a big 6-0 lead and kept cruising. Braves pitcher Pete Smith improved to 6-8 with the victory, while Blaze Isley dropped to 8-9. Final score, Greenville 9, Columbus 3. The final chapter of the 4-game series starts tonight at 7:30 in Golden Park. And the Junior League State Baseball Championship is out at Northern Field today. Eastern will be taking on the District 8. They're the District 8 champions from Columbus, and they'll be taking on Dunwoody. We'll have the scores for you at 11. And the mega fight to unify boxing's heavyweight championship between Mike Tyson and Tony Tucker gets underway tomorrow. Some of Tyson's sparring partners talk about getting the big punch.
Can there be a tougher job in sports than being Mike Tyson's sparring partner? Is this even a job or just some strange sort of masochism?
To be able to spar with Mike Tyson is the epitomization of the business. You're working with the best.
Yet, some don't mind admitting their reluctance to go into the ring with Tyson.
Sometimes in myself, to myself, I talk to myself, I say, man, like the other couple days ago, I said, damn, what the hell am I doing in here? You know?
No mercy on your sparring partners. Would they ever say anything to you in the ring like, come on, give us a break?
No, they're in there for a job. Their job is to work me over, and that's what they're in there trying to do. But to get in there with a guy like Mike Tyson, it's rough. I'm saying, it's very rough. You gotta know what you're doing when you're in there. And he also had devastating punches, you know. So you gotta learn to keep your hands up or stuff like that, you know, because if you drop them, good night.
So what's it worth to be beaten into a pulp? You might be surprised to learn that Tyson's sparring partners don't do all that badly and make on the average about $1,000 a week. James Broad earns $1,500 for his suicide missions, but Broad believes that his 5 rounds a day with the champ will help him in his boxing career.
And I feel like this is the best thing that could be happening for James Broad. So I am completely satisfied and overjoyed at the chance that James Broad has of working with Mike Tyson.
Overjoyed? Well, these fighters figure if they can take Tyson's best shots, they can take anybody's.
And in a recent development, Tony Tucker's co-manager, Dennis Rappart, got a temporary injunction blocking tomorrow's fight. The manager claims Tucker owes him money from 3 fights, totaling up to $500,000. The Athletic Commission, however, should clear up the matter by fight time. And the fluid, graceful motions of an athlete in action hold the power to quieten an arena or bring thousands of people to their feet. Some describe those moments as sheer athletic poetry. And let's pause to gaze upon July's special moments. So hit it! Here we have Reggie Jackson showing his good taste during an Oakland A's game, and he comes over to the cameraman to congratulate him on his good solid work there on the field. Yeah, go Reggie. And then we have a nice little bump against the wall, and here we have a day on 4th Avenue. And there is Eric Shaw bouncing off Andre Dawson's face, and then we have some morons in some foreign country getting run over by bulls. Don't ask me why they do that, but it's sport. And finally, we have the Royals and the Cleveland Indians going at it one night. And the next night, however, they get together again and go at it again. That's baseball in the major leagues. Now we have Don King. I don't want to say anything about him. And Edwin Moses takes a disappointing fall this month on the track as he skins his knees. And we have a big fish, a nice big fish. He's still big. And finally, we have an excellent dominoes and pool combination in a new sport, beer ball.
Beer ball.
And there is the Eye on July.
Thanks, Joe. Still ahead, a local teen queen.
Vietnam?
What's Vietnam? A question a child might ask, but not a childish question. A question that in the past has led not to answers, but only to other questions. What were we fighting for? Why didn't we just drop the bomb? How could we fight an enemy we couldn't even see?
Did all those people die?
Time Life Books and Boston Publishing present The Vietnam Experience, the series designed to answer the nagging questions.
Did we win the war, Daddy?
Each volume looks at the war from every point of view. No matter where you stood, you'll gain new insights into your own position, as well as those you may have opposed. You'll attend secret meetings at the White House and walk into an ambush to draw enemy fire. From Khe Sanh to Chicago to Saigon, you'll be there, learning much you didn't know about Vietnam and much you didn't know about America.
Why did we fight the war, Daddy?
Call toll-free and start putting the Vietnam experience into focus with Combat Photographer. You'll see what it was like over there from a perspective the media